What good is our faith if we keep it hidden? Now, more than ever, we need to let the light of Christ shine. And in this video, I'd like to talk about why. In Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 to 16, Jesus told his followers that they were a light in a dark world. And make no mistake, we are living in a dark world. There's evil all around us. But we carry a light that's meant to be seen. That light is in all of us, but we have to figure out exactly where we should shine it. You know, today, much of the world's attention is on the screen. It's on social media. People are using their phones, laptops, tablets, and that online space has become the modern marketplace now. It's where people gather. They talk, they argue, perhaps even find meaning. But if we ignore that space, then are we ignoring what Jesus is telling us in Matthew? Are we hiding that light under a bushel or a basket? Of course, it's okay to use social media for entertainment or for fun. But what if we used it for something else? What if we used it to shine that light of Christ? You know, I read somewhere that people watch videos now more than they read, and I can believe it. And when we think about how many of those videos are just meaningless, pointless, just a waste of our time, it's just crazy how long we could spend watching things like that. But what if we took that time and did something more productive with it? What if, rather than just merely consuming videos, what if we created them? Imagine if we shared our testimonies and we put it out there on video. We shared it with our friends and our family. That could make a huge difference. And our testimonies are so important, and they really can connect with people. When we talk about our faith, share our story and tell people how God has changed our lives. Well, that gets people to pause, think, ask us questions. And in doing that, we've planted a seed. And from that seed, change can grow. Before I started my channel, I was hiding my faith. I was keeping it to myself, scared of what other people thought. And I would tell some people who I was close with. But really, I was hiding that light. I wasn't shining it where I knew it would help other people, where I knew it would resonate. And I asked myself some challenging questions. Should I share my testimony online? Should I make videos? Should I spend my time doing this, pointing people to Jesus? And would it even work? And I challenge you to ask these questions too, because there's maybe a way that you could share your story, your testimony with others. Maybe you can shine that light of Christ in the world. And you know, that doesn't have to be done with a video. It could be with a written word. You could share a verse from the Bible and then reflect on it and tell how that relates to your life. Maybe for you, you've got an opportunity to go out and tell people in person. Maybe that would work. Whichever way you choose, I think there's something we can each do to share our story and our testimony. I think now more than ever, we have to be speaking out and being bolder. What we're seeing in the world is really dark. We're seeing evil at play. And even if you don't believe in God and you don't have faith, you can't deny what's happening. We're constantly being told things that aren't true. And then we're expected to go along with it and pretend like we believe it. And that's got to stop. I'm guilty of it. I've gone along with things just so that I don't get in an argument or I don't suffer the consequences. But what if we're called to speak out? To say when something's not true? You know, I'm looking back to how the gospel was spread in the first century, and it was through word of mouth and through letters. And now we've got this ability to just pick up our phone and share the gospel or our story, and that could reach people all around the world. For some Christians, even today, they're being persecuted, and for them, that's not easy. But for me, and maybe you too, we've got this opportunity. We can share, and we don't face this persecution like they do. When I think about the gospel and how Jesus died to save sinners like me, I think about how his story is our story. and that story's worth sharing. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.